Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban's shocking split after nearly 2 decades of marriage has left fans stunned, and what was once considered one of Hollywood's strongest and most affectionate love stories has now been revealed as a fragile bond that slowly eroded over time, exposing cracks behind the carefully crafted smiles, public displays of affection, and romantic red carpet moments that had millions believing they were unbreakable. Yet, as sources have now revealed, their marriage was not immune to the pressures of distance, busy schedules, and growing emotional disconnect, and the unraveling of their relationship has become a sobering reminder that even the most glamorous partnerships can face private struggles invisible to the outside world. Because while Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban built an image of intimacy with kisses in front of cameras, sweet interviews, and words of undying devotion, the truth was that their private life was increasingly defined by separation, lack of intimacy, and the brutal reality of two careers constantly pulling them in opposite directions. And it seems the spark that once fueled their passionate romance was gradually replaced by a sense of routine, of going through the motions, of being companions and co-parents rather than lovers. And the weight of this change eventually forced Keith Urban to confront Nicole about his unhappiness, a confrontation that insiders say was the breaking point, the moment when the mask of marital bliss cracked and the harsh truth surfaced, leaving Nicole blindsided and desperate to salvage what was slipping away, yet unable to stop the momentum of a relationship that had already begun to crumble. And this is where the tragedy of their story lies. Because Nicole, described by insiders as the glue holding the family together, found herself left behind, while Keith quietly began to move on emotionally, creating a painful imbalance where she was clinging to the vision of the marriage while he was detaching from it. And all of this unfolded under the weight of their shared responsibilities as parents to their two daughters, Sunday Rose and Faith Margaret, who remain under Nicole's care as she shoulders the responsibility of maintaining stability amid upheaval. And when you trace the history of their relationship, you see how the seeds of this ending were sown years earlier. Because while they presented a united front in public, the reality was that Nicole's intense filming schedules, international travel, and deep immersion in her acting career often left her physically and emotionally distant, while Keith, a world-renowned musician with his own tour demands, found himself frustrated, isolated, and feeling more like a supporting character in her story rather than a true partner. And though their love began with incredible intensity, with Keith famously flying to woo Nicole and sweeping her off her feet, even overcoming his battles with addiction during the early years of their marriage, that same intensity began to fade over the years, transforming into something less sustaining, less fulfilling, until the marriage resembled more of a partnership of convenience than a union of passion. And in Hollywood, where pressure, image, and constant scrutiny already weigh heavily on couples, the cracks became harder to patch over, the differences harder to ignore, and the emotional distance impossible to bridge. And what makes this revelation even more impactful is the way it contrasts with the narrative the world believed for nearly 2 decades. Because Nicole and Keith were often used as the prime example of a Hollywood couple who defied the odds, who kept their love alive despite fame, pressure, and distance, and who showed affection without shame. Yet insiders now reveal that much of this was performance, not deception in a malicious sense, but performance in the way many couples in the spotlight attempt to protect their privacy and maintain an image. And now that the truth has surfaced, fans are left reeling, wondering how such a fairy tale love could disintegrate so quietly. And in analyzing this collapse, you can see the universal lessons hidden beneath the glamour. Because what Nicole and Keith experienced is not so different from what many ordinary couples endure. The slow death of intimacy, the heavy toll of work and distance, the unmet needs, the unspoken frustrations, and the eventual realization that what once felt unshakable can, over time, turn fragile and breakable. And Nicole's current state, described as blindsided and devastated, reflects how even the strongest, most resilient individuals can be left shattered when love slips away, while Keith's decision to step back, to initiate separation, to prioritize his own emotional well-being, shows how often one partner reaches the breaking point first, leaving the other scrambling to catch up emotionally. And as the holidays approach and Keith's birthday looms, insiders suggest there is still work to be done, that conversations remain open, that reconciliation is not completely off the table, but the path forward looks uncertain.
Because once intimacy is gone, once the warmth is replaced by coldness, rebuilding that connection is one of the hardest tasks any couple can face. And while fans continue to react with heartbreak, shock, and disbelief, the story of Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban serves as both a cautionary tale and a humanizing moment, stripping away the illusion of celebrity perfection to show that even icons deal with love's collapse. Even stars cry behind closed doors, and even the most beautiful love stories can have painful endings. And so as Nicole continues to hold her family together and Keith steps into his next chapter, the world watches, not just out of fascination with their fame, but because in their unraveling, we see echoes of our own relationships, our own struggles, our own heartbreaks, and we are reminded that love, no matter how bright, requires constant nurturing, honest communication, and shared commitment to survive. Because without it, even the most passionate flames can burn out, leaving behind only memories of what once was.